The Steering Committee Chair, International Year of Quantum Science and Technology, Professor Joseph Niemela. He's the Executive Committee member of IYQ. He will give us just one last message and then we hear from the Minister as well. Put our hands together for him as he comes.
Thanks very much, and good morning, and buongiorno. Actually, just coming in from Italy. So I'd like to, I guess I'll stand on protocol as well, but I do like, besides the excellencies and distinguished guests, I want to say hello to the musicians, because that's where I came from many, many years ago. All right, so anyway, it's a real pleasure to be back here, especially in the land of Francis Alate, because Francis was a good friend of mine from 2003 onwards until he passed away. And we did a lot of things. He came up to ICTP many times, and it was a real joy to know Francis. So I'm very happy to represent the steering committee. I'm actually was the chair of the executive committee, which ran it through the United Nations system. That was the work starting in 2021 and going all the way up until the proclamation. So that, and it was really a long process, and it involved also getting community support. So it wasn't just a celebration amongst the industrial countries to celebrate, pat ourselves on the back and say, hey, great job for the last 100 years. It was really to involve all the world, and we really had to go out and get partners from every continent on Earth. So that was a predecessor, but from there we went through UNESCO, and we went to the United Nations. Now what you might not, I don't think I heard it, but what you might not know is that if it wasn't for Ghana, there would be no International Year of Quantum Science and Technology, at least not in 2025. So thank you very much. And in fact, that was a work of the UNESCO National Commission, the permanent delegation at UNESCO, and also the mission for Ghana in New York. And one person, I don't want to just single out one person, but Richie Mike Wellington was absolutely wonderful, and I worked with him from the UNESCO team, and we really tried to get this thing going. So thanks very much, Richie. Okay, so anyway, so that was on June 7th, 2024, and that was when the proclamation was put forward by Ghana, but with over 70 co-sponsoring countries, and proclaiming 2025 as the IYQ. So it's a long road, and in the early ideas, I mean, you saw the video, and so you know it goes back to the time, it goes back to a 100-year anniversary. So we're really celebrating the work of Werner Heisenberg in 1925. Now, why is that so important? Because quantum behavior had been seen many years earlier than 1925 from Planck and others and de Broglie. But Werner Heisenberg actually made quantum science calculable. We could actually work with it and start designing things, designing materials, designing lasers, etc. And so that's what we're celebrating. So that's the technology part. And and it's really been a revolution. It's been a revolution in physics and chemistry and biology. And so it's a long revolution. I think the French Revolution was 7 years, the American Revolution maybe 10 years. This has been going on for 100 years, and it's still going on. And so we're talking about a revolution in quantum science and technology. Everybody is talking about the second revolution. That's when you merge information and quantum science to get quantum information. And that entails quantum computers, which are going to be super powerful. It also will aid in drug discovery and in secure communications. But there is a lot of excitement going on in quantum science and technology still today. Two of the most important contributions to quantum science have been semiconductor electronics and the laser. Both of those have revolutionized, talking about revolutions, the way we actually live. And advances in lasers. So the laser was demonstrated in 1960 by Ted Myman at Hughes Research Corporation. So that was 65 years ago. The pace of innovation in laser technology is accelerating 65 years on. When he invented it, actually demonstrated it, Einstein had predicted it, he said, well, you know, he kind of quipped that it was solution looking for a problem. Nobody knew what the laser would be good for. Well, it's everywhere. It's in my phone right now, and so everything you touch has a laser behind it, pretty much. So anyway, we're celebrating this anniversary also with the International Day of Light, and every year on May 16th. And so just talking about quantum information, secure communications, we heard that talked about. So that's really going to be a problem. If you have very powerful quantum computers, which actually use qubits rather than bits, they could crack these algorithmic encryptions. And so this is really going to be a problem, how to secure banking transactions, for instance. And so we're going to have one talk actually tomorrow. It's not on quantum encryption, because that's expensive, and we're not quite there yet. But we're getting there. But it's going to talk about a very innovative way to approach encryption that gets physical keys, not algorithmic ones. So, and I think that's kind of a theme with a lot of the speakers, will be thinking out of the box, really innovative things, and they don't have to cost money. So not that money's a bad thing, but you can do a lot. And so at any rate, what I'd like to say is that actually there are a lot of work in quantum science, technology, a lot of Nobel Prizes associated with it, and those mature technologies are everywhere, and they're addressing the Sustainable Development Goals. So just a few: lab on a chip, point-of-care devices, photodynamic therapy. These are really revolutionizing healthcare in countries, especially in regions off the power grid, in remote areas. How to get medical diagnosis is coming. LED lighting. The LED is actually a marvelous invention. It's very cheap now. You can buy them for pennies, but really it conserves energy. It's affordable, and also for off-grid places to get lighting for both health safety and also personal safety, cleaning water, a lot of these things. So remote sensing in agriculture. You're going to hear a talk on Thursday by Kayler Simpson. So she'll be talking about the agricultural sector using photons to enhance the agriculture sector. And I just want to mention, I'm going to tease this out, because her company, she spun off 3 companies, and she's a university professor, but she managed to do this, and they contribute 0.2% of the GDP of New Zealand. So that's the power of just thinking innovatively, taking inventions, finding the market, and putting them together. So before I lose where I am. So at any rate, this year is an opportunity to talk for education and outreach, really to talk to everybody, school children, the general public, our policymakers, everybody, working together and promoting an equitable advancement in all areas of science, including quantum science and technologies. And I'll just, you know what the member states wanted. They want global cooperation, because peace is really what UNESCO and the entire United Nations, peace, security, prosperity, these are real goals. The science is part of how we get there. And I'd say part of how we get there because we really need all of society, and you know that. It's not just the science. Science provides the technology, but science does not provide the solution. The solution comes from the entire society, and we just heard that it takes lawyers, somebody talking about ethics, somebody talking about legal issues, somebody talking about other things, so that you really have to get everybody. So as math is a language, computer science, computer coding is a language, sometimes for us scientists, we don't know how to translate our ideas, and we need to do that. So that's a very important part of the year. All international years try to reach out and talk to people you don't normally talk to get that message out. And the last thing I just want to say on education is that Giorgio Parisi, the Nobel laureate in physics, recently said, you know, it's not too early. Kindergarten is not too early to start kids doing experiments and getting hands-on science. So anyway, I think that's the future, and I'm glad to hear Africa has a very young demographic statistic. So the future is now, and I wish you all the best, and all the best for this conference. Thank you very much.